Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Duh. Woo-hoo-hoo. Well, here we are, stitching in bed. I have no idea what I'm going to say, if I'm going to say anything, if we're just going to sit here and stitch together. I've had a lot of people tell me this is going really poorly already. I've had a lot of people tell me that when they watch my videos, they want to be stitching, but they find themselves just putting it down and watching because they want to pay attention, like because I'm either being an idiot or because of the things that I edited in, or it's just kind of fast paced and it's not always the best thing to stitch to, which I love. That makes me feel good. I mean, not that I want you to not be stitching, but because I like that you enjoy watching me. But this could be like this could just be an opportunity. Like, let's just hang out and stitch. We can just stitch together. We don't have to have all the frantic energy. I have absolutely no idea what I'm gonna say or do, or if I'm gonna say or do anything at all. This was just almost a spur of the moment thing. I'm home alone today. I wanted to stitch in bed. So why not turn my camera on and either you can just watch me, you can stitch with me. Maybe I'll just keep rambling like I am doing right now. I feel like I'm not good just talking off the top of my head and filling the space with like small talk and chit chat. I'm not that person. I'm the silent sit in the corner person, believe it or not. But I feel like it's either going to be awkward silence or it's going to be non-stop rambling. Either way, that'll be fun. I forgot to introduce you to here's my little setup here. I mean, you can't really see the bed. I mean, I could move the camera around and you could see, look, it's my bed. It's my bedroom where all the magic happens. Magic. Pick a card. I couldn't work out, obviously, for COVID reasons and for the fact that we live in different parts of the world, getting Jacob and Noah here to snuggle with me, even though I wanted to do that. So instead, I've got Noah represented here by this Fraggle. Hi, y'all! It's me, Fraggle Noah! Is that a good enough Noah impression? And beside me on the other side here, which you can't see, but I've got Jacob represented here. Because he's king, as everybody keeps reminding me, and this is a lion. So, Lion King. I couldn't find a crown, but here, this is King Jacob. Say hi, Jacob. I want absolutely no part of this. So, I'll put you over here. I've got my coffee sitting right beside me in a very dangerous spot. I'm probably going to spill it all over my bed and all over my camera and all over my stitching and all over everywhere, but I'm right-handed and I want it on my right side. Also, I know the other Stitch With Me's that I've watched, it's usually either you see the person's face, like face on, and you see what they're actually stitching, like over the shoulder, or just the stitching part. Now, sorry, but I don't have Francis Ford Coppola here helping me out with my camera angles and setups. So I can't really work out the over-the-shoulder stare at the stitching thing. And I mean, even if I could do that, it's one or the other. I only have my phone. I only have one thing. And like, where am I going to put how do you guys set up your shit when you do, how do you do that? I don't know. Like, I'm pretty good with editing and technology and that kind of stuff, but I don't have the multi-screen, multi-camera, multi-angle. Like, what are we, the Coen brothers, or are we Stitchers? Like, what's going on here? So, for now, I decided face on, because if you were actually stitching with me, you wouldn't be looking over my shoulder at my actual, like I can turn it around and show it to you every now and then if you want, but you wouldn't, if you were stitching, if you were in the room stitching with me, you'd be, I would hope, sitting across from me so that we could talk and we'd be looking at each other. We wouldn't be like, you wouldn't be sitting on my shoulders, would you? Maybe you would. Noah, you want to get on my shoulder? Here, get up here. Hi, y'all. There. No, that's going to be too awkward. Anyway, look at the people. There we go. So this is what I'm going with this time. If you hate this, if you'd rather me figure out some kind of a setup where you can actually see my stitching as I'm stitching in here, maybe I'll maybe you can at least do this. So you can kind of see that I'm actually stitching. I don't know. Fuck, I don't. What do you want from me? I don't know. I just wanted to get in bed. Oh my goodness. Okay. So you're going to get unprepared, unedited stream of consciousness Darcy, which I feel like is not the Darcy that you want to see. It's certainly not the Darcy that I want to present. I don't like stream of consciousness. I don't like off the top of my head. I don't like unprepared. I don't like carrying a conversation. I don't like anything about this. But here we are. So there's going to be a lot of nonstop rambling, which is going to annoy the shit out of you, or there's just going to be long, awkward silences. There might be a combination of both. But I'm going to do this for, I don't know, an hour, or until my coffee's gone, or until I have to pee, or until I finish a couple of squares down here. I don't know. We'll see. Just stitch along with me. I'll try. I feel obligated to fill these awkward silences, even though when people do that to me, I'm just like, just shut the fuck up. Like, silence is fine. I stitch because I like silence, not because I want constant chatter in my ear. And now I just can't stop talking about nothing, about not having silence. Anyway, so I'm working on Princess with a Himalayan Cat. I got a lot. I mean, this is what I wanted to do anyway, but I did get a lot of encouragement from all of you about just continue on till it's finished, which so far is what I've been doing. This is what it looks like right now. This little section right here, if I finish that, that'll be the end of page 34. I'm probably not going to, if I film an actual floss tube next week, like I'm planning, probably not going to actually finish the thing. I thought maybe if I pushed really hard, I would actually finish it in 2 weeks. 3 weeks is still doable. I feel like 2 weeks from right now is doable, but not 1 week. I'm not the super speedy stitcher that I once was, or that I still think that I am. In my head, I'm still 19 in every aspect of my life. My body disagrees with that. Speaking of which, I carried a really big heavy desk up my stairs a couple of days ago, which I carry stuff. I've carried stuff all throughout my life. I'm look at this. I'm strong. I can carry stuff. But after I did that, and including this moment, really messed up my back. And I just feel ridiculous that I'm complaining about back problems. Back problems. Am I 95 years old? Complaining about a sore back, hobbling around, hard to put my socks on. Anyway, so I don't know if sitting in bed like this is going to help my back at all, but I don't really care because I don't want to be an old man who complains about having a sore back. So I'm just going to ignore it until it goes away. So, what's everybody doing? What are you stitching on? Hold it up so I can see. It's gorgeous! Is that an Emma stitch along? It probably is. If I was actually in the room stitching with you right now, and you were talking as much as I'm talking, I would tell you to shut the fuck up. Let's just stitch together. Let's just stitch quietly together. We'll enjoy each other's company. You'll realize that unedited real life Darcy is not as fun as you think he is. I can piece myself together in small bursts and make myself look like quick, fun, witty, fast-paced, full of energy. But it's not always like that in one long stretch. Oh, I forgot to show you I've got Noah and Jacob with me. I've also got my snuggling sloth. Here's Mr. Sloth. Say hi, Sloth. Hi, it's me, Sloth. This is my bedtime snuggling sloth. Because I like to sleep with something under my arms. And yes, I could sleep with my wife under my arms, and we do snuggle sometimes. But all night long? All night long? You just ever slept with somebody like this all night long? Am I going to inhale her hair down the back of my throat? Plus, I'm a flopper. I flop from side, like fish flop, side to side, and all night long. It drives her crazy. But, like, I can't lay in one position all night, but I can pull a sloth with me, whichever angle I'm sleeping at. Me and my sloth can snuggle all night long. So he's here with me too. How long has this been? 12 minutes. Maybe that's long enough because I feel like I'm done. It's just gonna be 45 minutes of silence now. You might notice every so often, I've done it a few times already. Maybe all of you do this. Maybe none of you do this. Maybe this will be helpful to you. Maybe this is like the first thing you ever learned. I don't know. But it helps me. Every so often, I'm not counting, but like I'm going to say every like 10 or 12 stitches or whatever, I just let my needle hang like this. See that? And it unwinds it and untwists it. And ever since I started doing that years and years ago, when I discovered that, the number of knots that I get in my thread reduced almost down to 0. Because I was getting a lot of knots and it was driving me crazy. Sometimes I could pop them out and sometimes I couldn't. Like they were like crazy knots and I'd have to like cut them or like start over or whatever. It was driving me crazy. And then somebody, might have even been my mom, told me that if you drop your needle like that and just let it unwind, then it doesn't get so twisty and the number of knots you get will be greatly reduced. And much as that sounds like witchcraft, it's actually true. Not saying I never get a knot, because I do, I get knots. But compared to the knots that I remember getting and how often I now get them, it's like not just reduced a little bit, it's reduced dramatically. And so this, every so often, is not nearly as annoying as dealing with knots. So if you've never done that before or something like that, try that. Just every so often, just let it hang and let it twist. And watch your number of knots reduce from 50 down to 1 or 0. You're welcome. Well, I guess we're done. I get absolutely nothing right now. Do you like this? Do you like staring at me? Would you rather me? This would be way less awkward if I was not looking up and seeing myself sitting beside me right now. Maybe I should have tried to figure out how to get it aimed down at my thing instead. Hey, here we go. Look at that. Once I fill this little part in, I'm moving back over here. It's just been the same thing over and over and over for the last several months. Just got to get this bottom filled in. Really want to get this done though. I've really missed my other projects. But I do really, really want to get this done. Off my mind, out of my life. Everybody watch the Oscars last Sunday? I don't know what to talk about. Frances McDormand is apparently our greatest living actress. She now has 3 Oscars for Best Actress. Like, I don't think anybody else has that except Katharine Hepburn in the history of movies. Meryl Streep has 3, but not all for Best Leading Actress. One of them was Best Supporting Actress, which I know that's nitpicky, but Best Leading Actress at the Oscars. We have Katharine Hepburn, and we have Frances McDormand. And that's it. So let's all treasure our greatest living actress, Frances McDormand. I haven't seen Nomadland yet, but I'm dying to. She was fantastic, and I mean, she's fantastic in everything she does. I'm not even being sarcastic. She may be our greatest living actress. All the way back to Fargo. Before that, even Blood Simple. The one that she won for a few years ago, it's called 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Amazing. How that didn't win Best Picture, I don't know, but she won Best Actress and completely deserved it. It was amazing. Amazing. I feel like I'm so far behind movie. I used to be Mr. Movie. I knew all the movies. I knew all the awards. I just saw everything. I knew everyone. Sometimes I don't even know what's going on. Who are these people? I'm such an old man. How does this happen? I used to make fun of my parents for being like so out of touch. How do you not know who this is? How have you not seen this? And now I am that person. Who are some of these people even? What are these movies? Can you believe that movies from the 90s are like 25 to 30 years old right now? What the fuck? It still seems like new stuff to me. Pulp Fiction is 26 years old. 26 years old! Pulp Fiction was 26 years ago? What the fuck? All you young people out there, like, listen, he sounds like an old man. 26 years, that's forever. No, it's not forever. It's by awfully fast. It still seems like I still remember the 90s, the mid 90s and the Pulp Fiction 90s. Does not seem like 26 years ago. I have a little knot. just as I brag about my not getting knots, I have a little knot. Just a little one though, where you can like, let's just ignore that and get that little pop sound as it pulls through your pop. I'll just pretend that's not there. All right, I think we're back. My phone. I forgot to delete all the videos and all the footage and stuff from my last floss tube off my phone, and my phone ran out of space. Whoops. All right. I don't even know what I was talking about. Scissors or something. Who cares? Don't talk. We just want to stitch. Why are you talking at all? I don't know. This is filthy. This is absolutely filthy. I'm embarrassed to show it. Carting it around from place to place and house to house and apartment to apartment, wherever I've been for the last 9 years. Look, even this. This is... I printed this off in 2012. It's not like I couldn't just print another page, but no, I still have the original. It's stained brown now. It's all ripped. This is like a color chart thing. Yeah, I could. I've got a printer right there. I'm looking at it. It's right there. I could just print another one, but I don't. It's nostalgia at this point. Can this survive till I finish this without disintegrating? We're almost there. I should pick Jacob back up. Oh my god. My back hurts. He wasn't completely on the floor. He was hanging off the table. Hey, buddy. I want no part of this. Here, why don't you come over here? There we go. Oh, I just can't wait to be king. That's actually pretty comfortable. I like having shit under my arms. Well, I don't know that I'm actually going to post this. Not a good idea for me to assume that I can keep something going for an hour when I have no plan, nothing written, no ideas, no ability to communicate. Here's an important one. I don't generally like small talk. Like when somebody's sitting with me, even though I'm trying to do it right now, when somebody's sitting with me and they just feel like, just to fill the silent spaces, they need to be saying something, like even like, hey, it's warm out today, isn't it? Or like what, like whatever the hell. Like, you don't have to do that. There's nothing wrong with sitting silently. Please do. If you don't really have anything that you actually need to talk to me about, we don't need to be talking. Let's just enjoy the silence, even though that's not what I'm doing, but I don't get a whole lot of silence anymore. It's kind of nice not to ruin it when it comes around. Jacob, you're in the way of my dropping here. I'm a kitten. I'm so far behind on FLOSSTUBE too. Like I felt a few days ago like I was all caught up. Not all caught up, but like pretty much like. And then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of people all posted videos all at the same time, and I haven't had a chance to watch hardly any of them. I watched a few of them, but I still haven't watched Sean from Craftivating Creations. I still haven't watched Cassy Jo. I still haven't watched Anastasia. I really should be doing that instead of this. This is just, I feel like this is just a waste of time right now. I'm gonna like ruin my whole legacy of like, he's so funny and he's so much fun and he's entertaining and he's crazy and he's full of energy and he's all these things. And like, no, he's not. He's so boring. He just sits in bed stitching and he has no idea what to talk about. Why would he post that? Why would he even do that? I don't know. The cat is licking himself very loudly right now. Dukey! Duke! Keep it down over there. I have two cats. Duke and Maple. Maple gets all the attention. Maple's the only one that's really been in any of my videos or that I talk about. Poor Duke, always getting the shaft. Duke's a good cat too. I've got my sleeping bag on the bed with me right now because it's so comfy. I'm only allowed to sneak it on the bed when Melissa's not home or not paying attention. She thinks it's, maybe, am I the weird one? Like, she thinks it's the weirdest thing that I am a grown man and have a sleeping bag and like to regularly sleep with it. When we first started dating, the first time she came into my bedroom, I thought I did it. I did look at me, like I'm a grown up. I cleaned my room. I made my bed. Isn't this like, I thought I was all like grown up and clean because I had a mattress on the floor And my blanket, my actual like one blanket that I had on my bed was a sleeping bag. She, but I made the bed. It looked nice and neat. She thought that was the weirdest thing. And she still hates it. She's like, is it that weird that I sleep with a sleeping bag? I love it. It's so soft and fluffy. I've always slept with a sleeping bag until I started sleeping regularly with Melissa, and she outlawed my sleeping bag. She's like, I've slept with a sleeping bag for my entire life. That's always been my blanket. Is that weird? Other people also agree with her that that's weird. I didn't think that was weird until not that long ago, actually. I was watching a movie about Ted Bundy. One of the things that they mentioned about his odd behavior was that he sleeps with a sleeping bag. I was like, fuck off! That's the one normal thing that he did, okay? He slept with a sleeping bag. Oh. I have 2 stitches left and I'm done these squares. Gonna have to move on. Might have to start staring at my laptop where I keep my pattern. Still don't use Pattern Keeper. I'm so stuck in my ways. So afraid to try new things. Somebody messaged me on Instagram recently saying that instead of my like 2 strands that I pull, I should try the loop method and just use 1 strand, and sent me a demonstration, like a video demonstration of doing it. And it actually looks like a good idea. I haven't tried it yet. I said I was going to, and I haven't. Even when I agree that like, yeah, that looks pretty easy. That looks like a better way to start it, like to secure it. It's a new thing, and it's really, really hard to get me to do a new thing. even a good new thing, even a better new thing. Jacob, you're in the way. You're gonna have to come over here. Oh, rude. If you fall off, you're staying off. Anyway, loop method looked interesting, looked easy, and looked like it would probably be a good idea. Have I even tried it yet, though? No, I haven't. Pattern Keeper looks like a really good idea, a lot better than what I'm doing right now. Have I tried it? No, I haven't tried it. Look at this now. This is my favorite thing to do. The only reason I even have a pattern printed is so that I can highlight squares as I finish them. So this much left, and that's page 34. And then, after I finish that, it's so awkward. Page 35. Page 36. And then it's done. Surely I can finish at least this before next week if I film a floss tube next week. I would be really disappointed with myself if I didn't finish that. And a nice, good, significant chunk of the next page, too. I'll actually be pretty close to finishing next week, but far enough away that I'm not, like, close. Still a week or 2 out. But I suppose we should continue on to the next couple of squares. How long have we been doing this now? Half an hour-ish, maybe? Can I stop yet? Is the madness over? Can I just go back to... I got the house to myself. I just wanted to relax. And do this thing with this camera in my face that is stressing me out. Why do I do this to myself? Here's how I... Hey, do you want to actually see actual stitching things, maybe? Maybe. Stitch with me. Just stare at my face the whole time. This is how I start my threads. I get down to about... Can you see any of this? I don't know if you can even see that because it's so dark, but I get down to about there. I leave a little tail. And then and make sure this very much less awkwardly than this one. I'm not trying to show it on camera. Clips over the little tail to hold it in place, and now look, it's super secure. Sometimes I have extra like frayed ends of threads dangling there, and I could just like fidget with them and make them so like small enough that they're not in my way, but I usually just cut it off. I know that's an extra step that I don't really need to do, but I'm a little OCD about that. And look, the next couple of threads will probably stitch over it too to hold it even more securely, but I've never had a problem with that, even if it's just one stitch. So that's how I do it. It's fine. It's not going to come out. One stitch can be its own anchor. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Here, I'll tilt you down a little bit so you can see. That's so embarrassing how dirty that is, though. Maybe I should stitch Chessie with me instead of stitching this with me. I'm gonna clean it. Everybody relax. After I stitch over all the filth. This is a whole lot of nothing right now. You can't really see what I'm doing. And now you can't see my beautiful face either. What that? This reminds me of, hang on, I need more coffee. Back when I was like 20, I used to make short films because I thought I was going to be the next great filmmaker. And I still feel like I could have been if I would have put a little bit more effort into it. But one time, the ones that turned out the best were the ones that not only did I write a script for, I wrote the script, and then I wrote the script again, detailing every single shot and every angle that I thought I wanted to, like, so that when we got to, I mean, I know that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have a plan when you get onto a movie set and like make a movie. But so when we got to actually like filming the things, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. We would just do it. We would just like, it was like following a recipe. Like, we're going to do this and we're going to do this. I already had it mapped out in my mind. And those are the ones that turned out the best. And one time we decided, well, we've got kind of an idea, but didn't write anything down. Didn't write a script. Didn't really write a plan. We just like, let's just take this idea and see where it takes us. Jacob fell over again. And where do you think the idea took us when we had no plan, no script, no nothing, just an idea? Let's just turn the cameras on, and we're a bunch of young, hip artists. We'll figure something out. We'll make this abstract. We'll make it fun. We'll make it like whatever. What do you think happened? Absolutely nothing happened. It was a disaster. It turned into absolutely nothing. And it was a lot of work for all that nothing. So, I guess my point is, my fun things and my funny things and my creative things and my like, my things that are good, it's still me. It's not fake. It's still me. These are my ideas. These are my thoughts. It's my editing. It's my humor. It's all me. But it's me with a plan. That's a lot different than me without a plan. I need a plan, because if I just wander around thinking, let's just see what happens, what's going to happen is a whole lot of awkwardness. And I feel like that's exactly what is happening. The movie that we made, our brilliant idea. It's the young artists that we were. It's really me and one other guy, my friend Ken, who made a lot of my short films with me. He would just indulge anything that I threw out. Just do it. Just trust me that it's going to be a thing. Don't question it. And he just would. And he would just do whatever. I mean, we would have ideas together, but he was so good at just not like, why am I doing this? Why are you making me eat chess pieces? Why are you doing this to my house right now? Like, you just let me do whatever I wanted. Anyway, the idea that we had, that we thought, like, this is enough. This is all we need is the idea. And we're going to make the best short film ever. Was Ken was sitting in his apartment, and all of a sudden a balloon would randomly come floating at his head. And then another balloon. And then another balloon. And then before you knew it, his entire apartment, and I mean his entire apartment, was just filled with balloons. Don't know where they came from. There's no explanation for anything. There's not even any talking. It's just one balloon turned into another balloon, turned into another balloon, turned into an apartment full of balloons. And we sat there for hours. Hours and hours and hours and hours blowing up all those balloons. And what we ended up with was nothing. Because I didn't write anything down. I didn't have an actual script. I didn't actually have an idea for the idea. I just had, that was the idea. That was it. And that's all we ended up with. And it wasn't good. But I still feel like, had I, even talking about it now, you could make a short film out of that is good or weird or something, at least like is worth something. But you can't do it without a plan. You can't do it. I can't do it anyway. I can take something that looks completely random and nothing, and like, you don't need a script for that. Yeah, you do. You do need a script for that. You need a script, you need a plan, you need to know what you're doing, you need a list of shots, you need to know where you're setting your camera up, you need to know all this stuff, because if you think you're going to do it right there on the spot, you might as well throw it right in the garbage. And that's exactly what we did. So, I guess this is my first experimental, just the idea just sort of came to me that I'm stitching in bed anyway. Maybe I'll just turn my camera on. But I don't feel like this was the best idea. That I could have had at least a couple of topics written down just in case I run out of things to say, to fill these awkward silences, or to make it like worth stitching along to. But on the other hand, some people have also actually requested, like, can we just see what you're like normally? Is this what you're really like? Like, not that I'm not like, not that my floss tubes aren't really what I'm really like. I am really like that. But like, you're not going to come into my house and I'm just going to be on, performing for you all day long. It's going to be more like what's happening now. Maybe the occasional ridiculous comment. A lot of silence. If I get into a silly mood and I'm feeding off other people's energies or whatever, yeah, I can get pretty silly. But in general, I'm actually pretty quiet and I enjoy silence. And I don't know how to entertainingly fill that silence if I don't have any ideas planned out ahead of time. I don't write scripts for my floss tubes. Like, I don't write like a movie script. Like, everything's written out. Everything's like, everything I'm going to say and do is like, it's not like that. But, hang on, I gotta lick my thread. But I do write down at the very least point form stuff that I want to say and do, just to sort of like jog my memory. Like, because it's rare that something appears in one of my floss tube videos that wasn't at least jotted down to remind myself that that's what I wanted to say or do. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes stuff is spur of the moment. And I don't write dialogue. Like, I don't write down the actual things that I'm going to say. I don't write that stuff down. So that actually is just whatever comes out in the moment. But I'll write down a prompt to remind myself to talk about this or talk about that or do this or grab your ukulele here or don't forget to talk about your needle miners or whatever. Or have a plan going in. I wouldn't be able to do it without that. And I usually try to do it in order. That doesn't always work out either. Sometimes I just write down random thoughts, jumble them all together, and piece them together later. But it's better if I've got it all. Like one of the last times I filmed, the night before, I was laying in bed with my notebook and just staring at the ceiling, just laying there staring at the ceiling in complete silence. And my wife asked me what I was doing. And I said, I'm watching my video, like the one that I was going to film the next day. I'm just laying there watching it in my head. And then after I watched it, start to finish, then I could write down what I just saw. That's kind of how I do it. Isn't that fascinating? Don't you love that? I mean, throughout the week, I sometimes keep my notebook beside me, especially if I'm watching other people's floss tubes. If they say something that like prompts me to like, I got to respond to that, or I want to talk about something, or just, I don't know. It just, sometimes other people inspire me to like, yeah, I don't want to forget about something like that either, or whatever. I'll keep my notebook beside me and jot some ideas down, but usually at some point stare at the wall for 40 minutes, watch the thing piece together in my head, and then rewrite it like as if I'm just recapping what I just saw. That's my process. Now you all know. It's not a magic trick. So it'll probably be this time next week that I film my next floss tube, if I feel like it's worth it. Like, I mean, not worth it is the wrong way to put it, but I don't know. I don't know why I'm so hung up on like, I'm only going to have one whip to show. Is that worth making a video for? When I started floss tubing, I only had one whip. I didn't even dream of starting a new thing. This is the only thing I was doing when I started floss tubing, and I had no intention of doing other things. You just somehow get sucked into the floss tube vortex of start everything, finish nothing. I've never been like that. I've never done that before. I've never had multiple whips going on at the same time. I've done the reason this has taken me 9 years is not because it takes 9 years to do this. It's because I've done several other things in between, start to finish, like Christmas presents for my mom or other things for myself or whatever. But when I was doing those other things, I would put this down and not work on it at all. It was just paused. It wasn't like I was going back and forth between whips and working on multiple things. I would stop this and do something else start to finish, and then maybe pick this back up. So I'm not really oh my God, Maple is just going crazy over there. I'm not really a multitasker, multiple whipper. At least I wasn't until a few months ago when you all made me do it. I can always make a fun video just because I only have one whip, but I don't know. I've started to feel like Am I still, is there a difference between a fun video and a floss tube? Like, I want to be a floss tuber, but I also just want to make fun videos. Are they two separate things? Is it just whatever I say it is? I can just, if I say it's a floss tube, it's a floss tube, or should it be like a separate thing? Like, because I've got other videos I've already done that have just like over the years. I've got other things that I want to be doing, that I want to be posting, that are not stitching related at all in any way. And I am going to do that. It's just, and I've been saying that I'm going to do that, but the reason I keep hesitating and it hasn't happened yet is because I don't know. I'm a little bit hung up on. I say I don't care what people think, or like I'll just do like my own thing and people can accept it or reject it or whatever. I do believe that, but do I? Because I get hung up on like most or all of you are here subscribing and watching because of my floss tube videos. So if I start doing other things, is that like some sort of like betrayal of my channel, or you're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Or like, I mean, it's either gonna like expand into like some people are here for this reason, some people are here for that reason, or it's just gonna turn off everybody and be like, well, this isn't why I was here. Or this isn't why is he doing weird things now? Why isn't he even like why what is this? Is this a short film? Is this like he took a piece of his writing and animated it or something? Like there's ideas that I've done and that I want to do that like I'm just if I just post something random and you're going to be like, what the fuck? What is this? Without warning, or like I don't know, I might just be overthinking it a little bit. Like if it says floss tube, it's a floss tube. If it doesn't say floss tube, it's not a floss tube. Like whatever. It's my channel. I can do whatever I want. But I feel a certain obligation to the people that have been so nice to me and that watch me every time I do something and that subscribe to me, that like I'm just without warning just going to do something completely different. I don't know. Yes. And I mean completely different. Like I might just post something that's like literally a short film or something, some random abstract art video that I did like back when I thought that I was like the Canadian Fellini or like something. Like I don't know. It could just be completely not even fun, just like weird. And it's just without warning. Here's a thing from Darcy. What is this? What's going on right now? Where's his cat? Where's Chessie? Like where's, I don't know. I don't know how to work that, how to do that, or just do it. Who cares? Who cares? Stop overthinking everything. I feel like this must be getting close to an hour. The first chunk of this, I think, was about 15 minutes before my camera cut out. I was hoping I would finish at least another section here before I had to stop, but I don't know. So weird that it's like, has it been almost an hour? Because I feel like I'm just getting started with like, did I spend the entire hour just talking about how I have nothing to talk about? Did I say anything? Did I do anything? Have I just completely ruined my whole persona here? My whole like, yeah, it was he did have fun videos and a fun channel for a while, but then he showed us the real him. And nah, think I'm over it. I don't know. We'll see. But this has been going now for 38 minutes. And I think the first half of it was 15 minutes. So I might have to stop soon. I didn't really want it to be more than an hour. Maybe this is just a good, like, this is like my first floss tube. I feel like I'm brand new again. Like I was so awkward. It was so awkward and so uncomfortable. And that's how I'm feeling the same thing now. Like I'm doing a new thing. Like it's not like I've never made a video before. It's not like I'm not comfortable doing it now. Like, why is this so awkward? It's just, this feels new again. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to make it fun. This is not the same thing as making a floss tube video. But that's how I felt then too, and I just did it anyway. So I might still just post this with apologies for how, like, either annoying or nonsensical or nothing that it was. You can't even see what I'm doing. Stitch with me. Just stare at my face for an hour while I ramble. But I don't know. I'm not gonna get better if I don't do it the first couple of shitty ones. Get some feedback about what I could have done differently. Keep practicing. I don't know. I was so uncomfortable during that first floss tube. I still remember that. I love it now. It's like it's actually kind of like my comfort zone now. I can't wait to sit at that desk and turn that camera on. But when I first started doing it, that very first video, oh my god. It was awkward, it was uncomfortable, it was like I started and stopped. Like I couldn't even get started. It took me over an hour just to get started. It was the worst. And then I felt like I was stiff and uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable to know that, like, sometimes people still comment on it. Like, people are finding me and going back to the very beginning, and I'm just like, I want to be like, please don't do that. That first one. Even from the second, like, I can see the difference in improvement if I go back and think about, like, my second and third or whatever. Like, but they're better than the first, at least for me. I was kind of more myself even by the second one, but that first one is just disastrous. It makes me uncomfortable that people are still going back and watching it. I was so full of, like, doubt and awkwardness and even when I finished it and started putting it together, even then I was just like, oh no, this is embarrassing. I'm going to embarrass myself. Which, like, who cares, right? Like, my entire persona is built around embarrassing myself. What do you mean? But, like, there's a difference between embarrassing myself because I'm just being a goof, or embarrassing myself because I'm trying to do something that I think is good and it's not good. That's a whole different kind of embarrassment. So even when I finished it, got it all put together, let my wife watch it, I sat on it for a while because I was so hesitant to post it and actually do it and have to ask people to watch it. Like, it was just, I don't know how I ever plowed through that first couple of weeks. I'm glad I did. I'm like that with all new things, even new ventures that I'm thinking about doing right now. I go through the same thing every single time. Once I do it, once I dive in and do it, get past the first little stumbly awkwardness of doing new things, it tends to go very well for me. And not just a little bit well, like very, very well. That's not to jinx myself, but that's the pattern of my life. But every time a new opportunity or a new venture or a new thing to, like, put myself out there, every time something like that comes up, I go through the same process of self-doubt, reasons not to, reasons why it won't work, reasons why people are not going to like it, reasons why I'm going to fall flat on my face every single time. And it doesn't happen. But I go through the same thing every time. I'm going through it again right now. Not with this Stitch with me, but with, like, something else that I'm sort of, like, thinking about doing with my life. I feel like at this point in my life, I could be, not to put a little Sigmund Freud beard on my phone here, like you're my therapist or something. Like, I feel like at this point in my life, I could be closer to where I want to be with having an actual career doing creative things like writing or filmmaking or whatever. I could and should be doing these things instead of just doing them for myself and letting nobody read them and nobody watch them and all the things that I do that I'm afraid to put myself out there. But I don't know what my point is. I'm just afraid of, I don't even know what. I really don't know what. I don't know what I'm afraid of. I want to say I'm afraid of embarrassing myself, but that's not true. I don't care if I embarrass myself. I'm afraid of failing, but like, failing is the same as not even doing it at all. If I'm going to try something new and fail, isn't that better than just not even trying? Because I end up in the same place, except in one scenario, I wonder what might have happened if I would have just tried. I'd rather know that I tried and failed. At least I think I would rather know that. And yet here I am, still with a whole lot of things, not trying. Because I'm afraid of something and I don't even know what that is. I don't know. I don't know. I was like, I went through this whole same process with FlosStube too. I was, for 2 years, I wanted to be a FlosStuber. And I talked about it a lot. And I had ideas. And I couldn't bring myself to do it. And why? Because I thought it wasn't going to go well, or because I thought I was going to embarrass myself, or because I thought that people were going to hate me, or because, like, I don't even know why, because those are like, if you asked me, I would say that I don't care about any of those things. Maybe I do care about those things. I don't know. And why should I? Because, like, what? I'm gonna go hide in the shadows and find myself like a night job stocking shelves or something like that, just because. Why? Because I'm afraid a bunch of strangers might giggle at me behind my back. Who cares? So I'm not even gonna try? I don't know. Stupid. It makes me feel stupid. Because every time I do try anything, it tends not to just go well. It tends to go really well. But when the next opportunity to try something new, or to try something or put myself out there, when the next opportunity arises, back into my shell I go, with all of my doubts and self-consciousness and thoughts of failure. Anyway, tell me about your mother. Thanks, Dr. Freud, for listening. Please tell me if I actually post this. Please tell me all the things. Like, don't ever do that again. Tell me that if that's how you feel. Or like, we don't want to see your face next time. We want to see your stitching. Stop talking so much. Don't talk at all. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. You wouldn't think that this would be so different than, like, well, you make videos, like, you make good floss tubes, you make funny floss tubes. What's the difference? There's a difference. I don't know what the difference is, but there's definitely a difference, because I feel like what is this? I feel like an amateur right now. Like I'm brand new again and I don't know what I'm doing. So please help me out. Do you never want to see this again? If you do you want me to talk less? Do you want me to... I could do one without talking at all. I'm good at that. Believe it or not. I can sit in silence all day long. I could try to set my camera up over my shoulder and then you can just see what I'm doing. That might be a little bit more comfortable for me. Knowing that you're not, like, staring at me. I don't know. Let me know what you think. This might be the one and only time this ever happens. Still up in the air whether it even gets posted. I don't know. I feel like this was just disastrous. I kind of want to finish this block at least, though, before I stop. Maybe like 3 or 4 more minutes. Can we handle that? Can we handle 4 more minutes of me talking about how I shouldn't be talking? This actually isn't going to end up as bad as I thought, as far as like, I know I didn't start out with like right from the very beginning of 3 blocks, but I'm going to end up having highlighted and finished 3 blocks on my pattern here, which is 300 stitches. Just in this Stitch With Me, I'll be 3 blocks ahead. It's not bad. Really just want to get this done, though. I mean, not in like an aggressive sort of like, I'm making it sound like I just hate this now. just get out of my life. But just when I'm this close to the end, it just feels silly to put it down and work on something else when I could just get it to. And even if I was working on something else, I would be thinking about this like it's some kind of betrayal. How can you put it down and work on something else when you're this close to the end? And as much as I want to be working on those other things, I love my other whips. And finishing this might give me more of an excuse to start something new. Like legitimately, without the guilt. Probably going to do Emma's Christmas stitch along that's coming up in June. And maybe, I was actually thinking, maybe instead of starting a new thing, the moonstone that I was working on that I've showed in some of my previous videos that I kind of just abandoned because I couldn't handle 5 whips. It was too much for me. Maybe I'll pick that back up and finish that instead of starting a new thing. That'll just be, instead of having this in my rotation, I'll have that. And that's more than half done already. That might be a better idea. And then once that's done, and once I've made more progress on some of my other things, then the real fun of starting something really brand new will start, which I'm kind of excited about. I don't really know exactly what I'm going to start, like another Heaven and Earth. I don't know which one that's going to be yet, but I've got a lot of really strong possible contenders. Whatever I feel like on whatever day I actually start the thing. That's what it's going to be. Chances are strong it's going to be Alice in Wonderland related. No, same thing over and over. So many Alice things. So many. Yeah, well, that's what I like. And I've still got a lot that I want to do that I haven't done yet. A lot. I like Alice because I don't consider Alice in Wonderland a kids thing. Like, yeah, it was a Disney movie. That's the way people get the idea of like for kids or whatever. It's a kid because Disney made a movie out of it. But have you read the book? Have you actually read Alice's Adventures in Wonderland? Like, okay, it's not like some sort of heavy adult thing, but it's a real sort of psychedelic trip through somebody's whacked out imagination. It's really, really good and super inspiring for somebody with like my kind of a mind who loves that kind of stuff. Like, you can really see the influence that kind of writing and that kind of imagery had on people like John Lennon, which is another reason I love the Beatles so much. Like, yeah, their love, like All You Need Is Love and Hey Jude and all their great songs or whatever. Yeah, but I like the John Lennon tripped out imagery, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, I Am the Walrus, A Day in the Life, Dig a Pony, songs like that. That's just like, it's stuff I hear words like that strung together, And I just get so excited. Bob Dylan did a lot of that stuff too. Yeah, we got Times the Era Change In and Blowing in the Wind and all these great like 60s anthems. But listen to a song like Tombstone Blues or Ballad of a Thin Man or Subterranean Homesick Blues. Like that there exists a person in this world that puts those words together in that order gets me so excited because I want to be one of those people. I want to be just like that. I want to write things like that. I want to say things like that. I want to do things just like that. It's so exciting. And that's how I feel about Alice in Wonderland too. I'm not just reading a kid's book. I'm reading something by somebody who has a brain that works the way my brain works. And I'm not the only one. And it's exciting. It's exciting to read. It's exciting to listen to. It's exciting to know that there are people like this in this world. So, that's the end of that. A couple of stitches over here. I finished these two. I finished this block. I'm going to continue on. I've still got a few hours before anybody comes home, so, and I don't really have any other plans. So, I mean, we could make this a 4-hour video, but we're not going to. So, until I hope we had fun. Let me know what you want to see or not see, or if you ever want to see this again, because it might never happen again. Different angles, less talking, more beer. I didn't even have beer, I had coffee. What the hell? Maybe that's my problem. Whatever. Let me know what you think. Happy stitching. Thanks for indulging me. I'll be back next week with a floss tube. Say goodbye to Jacob here. I still want no part of this. Say goodbye to Noah. Bye, y'all. Love you guys.